Hi there, my name is Stephanie and I'm with Grant Halliburton Foundation, and we are a nonprofit that focuses on mental health. So I want to talk about one way that we can kind of take care of ourselves when we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and that is to turn to art therapy practices. Now, sometimes when we hear the phrase art therapy, we think, oh, that's only for creatives, that's only for artists, but the truth is that all human beings are creative. We use creativity all the time, from problem solving throughout our day to fixing something that's broken, trying a new recipe. We all have it in us to be creative. And so I encourage everyone to honor that and give this a shot, even if you don't consider yourself an artist per se. Now, another thing I want you to focus on as we go through this activity is that it's really important that we focus on the process, not the product. So the goal shouldn't be to create this perfect masterpiece. The goal is really to just enjoy that process. Take it as an opportunity to reflect, as an opportunity to slow down and just engage with that intuitive side using different materials. And speaking of, any materials are great for this activity. Bare minimum, you need a piece of paper and a pencil, but you can also use inks, paints, colored pencils, whatever you have on hand. So let's go ahead and get started. This activity is called Past and Future Hands. Okay, so first step that I want to do in this art activity is to simply trace your hands on a piece of paper. So it should look something like this. You're just going to place your hand on the paper and then trace the outline, one on the left and one on the right. The left hand is going to be representative of the past. And so I really want you to take some time to think about, what does your past self look like? What are some emotions that come up, feelings, thoughts, memories, and use that to inspire your imagery as you go through this process. Now, again, feel free to use any creative material you have. You can use words to describe your past self. You can use imagery, color, whatever you like, but really take this opportunity to slow down and focus on, what does that past self look like? Okay, next step is to focus on our future self. So our future self is going to be represented by that right hand. So same thing. I really want you to think about, goals, hopes, dreams, even things you want to integrate from the past, right? So our future is made somewhat by our past experiences. And so maybe carrying over some of those images and thoughts and feelings, but transforming them into something new. And so now I want you to take that time to, again, slow down. Think of your future and your ideals and hopes and goals, and really use this time to fill in that right-hand side now. Last step is to reflect. And so there are a few ways we can do that. One way that we can reflect is by journaling, which is what I did. And so I'm going to look at my creation, kind of stand back from it, and see what kind of feelings, thoughts, emotions, connections, insights come up as I'm exploring it and thinking about it. Now, another way that we can reflect is by doing this activity with others, right? So if we can loop in some friends, some family members, then after we get done, we can have a nice discussion on, why did we choose the colors we chose? Why did we write the words we wrote? What is going on with both of these images, and how can we incorporate them and find different insight between our past and future self? Now, I'm going to show you mine really briefly just to kind of illustrate what this might look like. So I chose to use color rather than images or words to explore my past and future self. So you can see that there's a lot of red in the past self. So I actually was born in Oklahoma, and if you've ever driven through there, there is a lot of red dirt. So the red dirt I find really beautiful, but it also isn't the most nutrient-rich soil, which means things have trouble growing there. And so I kind of used red as exploring, some of the hardship that I experienced. And while I'm really proud of coming from that area, I also have a little pain involved. And so that's the past. But then you can see I carried some of those red tones to the future side, but I also introduced new cooling, calming colors. So I used blues and greens to kind of show that desire for self-care, for the ability to grow and flourish. So that's just a little insight into mine. I encourage you to really dive in and explore how you felt during this process and continue to learn more about art therapy. Now, if you have any suggestions of different topics you'd like us to cover, or if you have questions about this video, please feel free to reach out at info@granthalliburton.org. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.